Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loki here. Join me today as I show you how to easily propagate Forsythia. So let's go. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love to propagate plants. When it comes to Forsythias, there are a lot of different ways you can propagate the plant. In fact, I showed you one winter my process for propagating Forsythias using hardwood cuttings. I'll put a link to that video down in the description below. It's a fun process to do when it's the middle of winter and you want to get your hands dirty and do something gardening related. But here we are, it is the middle of summer and I want to get my hands dirty and I want to propagate plants. That's why I'm making this video. I want to show you how easy it is to propagate Forsythias during the summertime. And I have homework for you. Your homework is to walk around your garden or other people's gardens and see how can you propagate some plants from your yard or from their yards. The process I'm going to show you today will apply to a lot of other plants, including Spirea, Hydrangeas, Weigelas, beauty bushes, lilac trees including Korean lilacs, flowering quince. The list goes on. This method of propagation is basically by finding suckers that are found at the base of the plant. I feel like it's one of the easiest ways you can create more plants for free. In that list of plants that I gave you, I've been able to successfully find suckers at the base of all of those plants, which is why I shared them. And I know there are other plants as well that you can take suckers from, so be on the lookout for those. The Forsythia that I'm going to show you today is one that I really like. When it comes to Forsythias, there are a bunch of different ones out there. I have one in my yard that has more of a wild habit to it. And every time it has branches that get long, they basically hit the ground and they sucker right there in place. And I don't like the look of that particular Forsythia, although by all means, if you're trying to make a big, huge hedge somewhere out in a field, you can definitely use that kind of Forsythia. However, I have another Forsythia in my yard. I don't know the name of it. I've had it for a number of years. It has a little bit more of a tidier form or habit to it. So let me go ahead and show you where the Forsythia is in my garden, and I'll show you my process for getting baby plants off of it. We are heading to what I affectionately call my long border. This is a part sun flower border. You can see towards the front of this flower bed, there are a bunch of different beautiful perennials that are currently in bloom. But towards the back of this flower bed is the Forsythia bush. Right now it's just a bunch of green leaves, but it looks so pretty when it was blooming during the fall months. One thing I want to point out is right in here, I like to have an open path because I want to be able to come in and just weed the back of my long border. And you can see I can't easily come in here and weed. If we were to lift this, I want to show you that this right here is connected to the mother plant right in here. So the mother plant must have had a lower branch that laid down, and over time it rooted itself to create a whole nother plant. And that right there is opportunity to go ahead, dig this up, and we can move this to another place in the yard. One gardening tool that I'm definitely going to need is a large shovel in order to dig out this Forsythia. Another tool that I have handy and I may end up needing to use are hand pruners. I may have to cut away this plant, this baby plant, away from the mother plant. So I want to go ahead and I want to dig about an inch or two away from the base of this Forsythia baby plant. I have mulch at the base, so I'm just removing the mulch. Since this is quite large, I'm going to dig on the other side as well. And now I just want to see what the root system looks like. So I have a large piece of root going this way. I can cut it or pull it just like that. And now is a good time for me to come in with my hand pruners and cut off this baby plant from the mother plant. I have another large root coming this way. Again, I can use my hand pruners and cut that. And you might be wondering, am I damaging the plant by cutting the roots? Not at all. The plant has plenty of other roots on there, so it will be fine. We have some more roots right here. And then we have a final one or two roots on the back side right here. Again, I'm going to use my hand pruners and I'm going to go ahead and cut. And you just want to keep doing this process until you've finally freed your plant. And we finally got it. I'm just going to clean up the mess that we made. Put the mulch back. I also have some wood chips here. I'm just replacing them. And I want to mention I have another freebie plant that's right over here, and there are other ones around this mother plant. Look how big this plant is. This was just one small little baby plant that we got off of the mother plant. If you were to buy this in a garden center in the springtime all potted up, they would charge a ton of money for that. And this is what I'm talking about. You can easily shop your own yard, your friend's yard, your family member's yard, your neighbor's yard. I'm sure they have plants that you want, but you can easily just check at the base of the plant. It doesn't hurt. And there might be a little baby, a little sucker coming off the bottom that you can dig up. You might have to cut a little piece of it from the roots, and then voila, you have a free plant. Even though it's been pretty hot here in New Hampshire and it's the middle of summer, it's the later in the day, the sun is going down, so it's a great time for me to be doing this job. But let's not waste any time. Let's get this in the ground. I wanted to show you the root system. So see right here, if I wanted to, I could come in and cut right here because this section has growth on the top, it has roots on the bottom. The same with this section here. So I could come in and cut and I would end up with 2 Forsythia bushes. But I don't care to do that, but I just wanted to show you in case you wanted to do that. Here we are on the north side of my house, and this area gets a lot of sun. And in fact, we're going to be working on this area quite a bit during the next month or so. But we're going to be planting the Forsythia towards the back of this flower bed. Right here is an Annabelle hydrangea, and right over here is a small leaf rhododendron. So we're just going to plant our Forsythia right here. And there's a high likelihood that a couple of trees that are going to be close to the Forsythia might end up getting cut down. I have some wood chips here to help suppress the weeds, so I'm just pulling back the wood chips. I don't want to plant the Forsythia directly into the wood chips. That would rob a lot of the nitrogen away from my Forsythia bush. So I want to make sure I'm planting the Forsythia directly into the native soil. Now I can go ahead and dig my hole. Some of you may wonder, why don't I use an auger to dig my hole? Well, I live where I'm surrounded by woods, and because there are a lot of trees, that means I am constantly fighting with roots. So it doesn't make sense for me to use an auger. I brought a bucket of compost with me so that I can also amend the soil as we plant the Forsythia. For a planting depth, I just want to make sure I get those roots tucked right in. And then basically where the base of the plant is, I want the base of the plant to be just flush with at soil level. And now I can go ahead and backfill. There's a chance that this Forsythia may not bloom for me next year. It might take an additional year to bloom, but I want to be patient. After all, it was free. And if it does bloom for us next year, that's a bonus. So I'm just getting the soil all around, making sure I'm covering the roots. When it comes to planting any sort of perennials later in the season, so midsummer onwards, I prefer to also add a little bit of Espoma biotone starter fertilizer. The reason I do that is I want to stimulate the roots to grow faster for me. I want to make sure that my plants are well established before the winter months come. So I'm just going to sprinkle some at the base of the plant. I'm going to give my Forsythia a nice drink of water, and that is critical. I need to be making sure that I'm giving this plenty of water for the next number of weeks because I want to make sure that the plant doesn't dry out. And now I can go back in with my wood chips and cover the base. The wood chips are optional. I just have them out here, again, to suppress the weeds. You might have bark mulch or something like that around your Forsythia. And it's that simple to get a free plant. And this is not a small free plant. This is a big free plant. There were many more where this came from. So remember, that's your homework. Go scouring your own yard or other people's yards and see if you can find some freebie plants at the base of what they have or what you have. Let me know what you find. If you like this kind of video, please hit the thumbs up button so I know that you enjoy this kind of content. And if you want to see other videos just like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. I'll be making more videos when it comes to propagating plants, so be on the lookout for them. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.